Greetings and salutations, everyone. I hope everyone is still doing well. Welcome to tonight's second half. Before we jump into it, a couple links. As you know, I rely on Patreon, PayPal, and my merch to help the channel to continue to grow and go. Links to Patreon and PayPal are in the description below. The merch is displayed directly under the video. Also, Dogman, Frightening Encounters, Volume 1 through 3, the audiobook versions. They were written and researched by Tom Lyons. Narrated and produced by me, Jeff Nadolny. Those audiobooks are available on Audible, Amazon, and iTunes, the links to which are also in the description as well. And finally, last but definitely not least, if you'd really like to help support this channel to continue to grow and go, simply subscribe. It doesn't cost you a cent. Click that like button. It takes half a second. If you don't want to miss out on any of the informative and exciting uploads I put out daily, click that bell icon. And finally, last but definitely not least, please leave a comment. Why? Well, because all these things, they really do help this channel to continue to grow and go. And folks, they definitely matter. Now, everyone, I have taken far too much of your time. Let's get on with tonight's second half, shall we? Today's first question is from a subscriber who wishes to remain anonymous. She sent me an email and I sent her questions to William. Greetings from Arizona. My husband and I live on an Indian reservation in Arizona. We are curious as to how many werewolf, dogman, and Bigfoot are in the area of San Carlos Apache Reservation. Another thing, a creature that appears to be half goat, half man has also been seen by locals. Is this thing a cryptid you've dealt with before? Please keep my name out of this. Thanks. There are 15 werewolf and 9 dogman within the confines of the reservation at this time. But remember, they are nomadic. We have not had to deal with this cryptid in a very long time. Is it causing problems? I asked William to elaborate on the cryptid. Also, there is no way of tracking Sasquatch because they did not successfully breed in the program, so... It is reported to be a bipedal humanoid over 7 feet tall with inhuman strength, large eyes that some claim to be a wild red. Its body is said to be covered with long black or reddish-brown hair, with an exclusion of its chest, face, hands, and arms which appear to be human. Stories say the creature is nocturnal, omnivorous, very territorial, and sometimes very violent. It is generally reported to walk with wide, inhuman strides, leave behind hoof prints, mimic bird, coyote, and other wildlife, emit unusual whistling sounds, explore campsites after dark, build nests out of pine needles, twigs, and leaves, and hurl stones from locations that are hidden from view. In numerous reports, the monster has been said to emit a blood-curdling scream, described as sounding like a woman in great distress. Accounts of the creature regularly describe an eerie silence prior to the encounter. An appreciable stillness in the woods that commonly surrounds predatory animals. Our last known sighting was in 2004. I thought it had totally fallen off radar since it had been so long since I've heard anything from it. An agent named Ted Owens went onto the reservation and killed what I thought was the last one. That's all I personally know about that. This is a brief email that William sent me the night of my 10,000 subscriber celebration, the Wyoming hunt. You will see why this email fits in later on. Finally had this creature coming to me in Kentucky, and my satellite radio sounds from Virginia with a coded message sending me to Clelborn, Texas tonight. Something big has happened down there, uncertain of what it is, or from which agent sent word to Virginia to get me down there. Let you know when I can. Sure not looking to fly tonight. I've had no sleep in over 40 hours now, but I'm on my own tonight, so here we go. Talk soon. Hope all goes well with the Wyoming hunt tonight for you. Bill. Elizabeth Sisney asks, William, answering questions. Will this hurt you? No, Elizabeth, it will not hurt me as long as I play by my boss's rules and don't go against what he says not to do. And I haven't done that yet and won't until my retirement. Sonia Ballard asks, how many Dogman and werewolves are in the Westmont, Illinois? I looked at a 32-mile radius at 1,430 hours today, and there were 16 Dogman, all in the Morton Arboretum, also 9 werewolves scattered around the town in the wooded areas. William Daniel asks, William, is there any of the big 3 near Yanceyville, North Carolina? We are looking 36 miles from the center town. William, there are no tagged Bigfoot. That program failed to produce any offspring. As far as Dogman, there are 24, mostly around the Farmers Lake area, and 18 werewolf up towards the Hyco Reservoir. Hooligan asks, Crypto Reality stumbled upon 4 U.S. Marines, possibly kill team, in his research area, located in the Myakka River State Park, Florida. Am I aware of this? Can I provide any information? No, I am not aware of this going on, as we get no help from the military. So, if in fact it was actual Marines, and they are in fact hunting, they are doing it so as mercenaries. There is no additional information that I know of that needs to be added to this or taken away from it either. Kevin Bailey asked, why is it actively covered up? Why isn't the existence of these creatures public knowledge? I would think that is still covered up due to the number that could still be called upon to use as a weapon of war. My boss is letting me get this out in a small number of people that I believe can spread the word about these creatures during my time left at the agency. Once I leave the Q&A from me, I will have to end my hunts. Will not, but they will make me sign a disclosure agreement at that point. So, the more viewers, the more information possible to get out. It's the reason I chose Jeffrey's channel, like he takes more pride in it. Also, I think that my retirement may be sooner than December. Now we are fully staffed and have everyone in training now. But they have me working harder cases and solo. Tim Main asks, where did the Dogman werewolf come from? Are they an evolution shoot-off of wolves that have learned to stand up and talk? Tim, they have been here since the beginning of time and for some reason turned evil. No, they are not a shoot-off of wolves. They are their own breeds, and only the werewolves have the ability to speak, and that's if they want to do so. Perry Smith asked, why didn't the government make the released ones sterile? Last question, is President Trump aware of the program? They wanted them to breed in the wild. As the reasoning behind this, it's above my pay grade. I would say yes to that, as most presidents know about their military options that are available to them. Jack Hansen asked, can you describe a werewolf more in detail? Jack, this is my best way I know how to possible. Take a man, make it larger, flat-faced with fangs, hands that have 2.5-inch nails that will not break, human legs and feet with maybe 1-inch nails, covered in fur from head to toe except a very small portion of its face, probably as strong as 10 men. Then you will have a werewolf. Vincent Allenson asks, why would the handlers feed the 3 humans? I don't believe I said they were fed humans. They were fed raw meat. Unless they were in the breeding program, then they were fed a diet much like humans cooked. Rudy Soto asks, he once worked as a military contractor, DEMA, and was told to not leave his vehicle at night on patrol, that there were things that would get him. Yes, Rudy, I know where you were, and I can tell you that you had all 3 of the big 3. and still to this day do. Hey Jeff, I'm not really feeling good today. Can't find this creature. Had softball-sized rocks thrown at my tent today with me in it. Had to move outside to get it to quit. Hope tonight's hunt is better. Any word on Jonathan from that address? I need to stop by in Oklahoma before I go to Doc's. The guys had a productive night in Cleburne, Texas. Everyone got at least 1 kill and 2 got 3. Training is going well. Hope you are feeling better and your daughter as well. One question, did you get the school worked out? All I have time for today. Sorry, William. Hey Jeff, can't sleep tonight. We have Cleburne wrapped up now. Everyone headed back to Virginia for reassignment and me going on to Doc's if I find out where I need to go to. Having a hard time getting in touch with anyone from home. They would answer if it was a death or something to that effect. I have an idea, but not going to say till I have to, but I will see soon enough. Hope you are doing well and feeling good. You did a great job on the Wyoming hunt. Couldn't have sounded any better. I bet it took a toll on your throat. Nothing but good wishes for you, my friend. What kind of story would you like next? I have a rabid Bigfoot and another Dogman that's pretty decent to listen to. Brian Gromlich asks, did anyone ever retrieve the woman's body or evidence from her? What was your MOS in the Corps? How about your sons? What were their MOS? Semper Fi, Brian. No, I was never able to find the woman's body. I searched the cave the Dogman was holed up in, and it was not in there, and there was a 14 to 16 miles back to the Little America station of open ground that she could have been dropped on, any of it. So, to my knowledge, it's never been found even today. Even still out there sometimes. I feel really bad not finding her, another daughter of someone lost in time. My MOS was 8541 Scout Sniper. All my boys ended up as grunts. Michael SC asks, William, on the How to Hunt YouTube page, they showed what they believe is a Dogman skull. Can you tell us from your experience, is that skull of one? Sorry, Michael, this is a dog skull, maybe a bull mastiff or a St. Bernard, but it is not a Dogman's. Its snout would be longer and thinner in shape, and the teeth would be longer and more of them, unless they had fallen out. And this one, somebody has already pulled one out, probably for DNA. Thanos Snap asked, how do you communicate with the Dogman? Is there a certain language you have to learn? Just in case, a simple statement may save me, opposed to shooting and aiming at it and possibly getting myself killed if we can resolve the situation peacefully. And we go on our own way, that better. It's not like it's going to work if possible, but it just might save us both. You can't talk with the Dogman, but you can with the werewolf. If they are tagged and come out of the program, then they will know English. If wild, it will be if they decide to learn a language. And most do by what they hear and what they are around. I have never heard anything but English. In today's world, you don't run across many that are willing to talk. They have about all turned evil nowadays. Mark Shingloff asks, are there other cases that involve rabid werewolf? Can other cryptids become this way? Yes, there were other encounters with rabid werewolf, but nothing that was dispatched with quite easily. Yes, I have had a Bigfoot that I chased across 2 states on foot, and he was killing everything in his path for 6 days of chasing. William told me that story. Very interesting. Chased it all the way across to Alabama. Colleen Carolee Peltema asks, do the tagged werewolves ever get rabies shots? Yes, they get a complete set of shots before they leave the facility to go out into the wild, but after a year, I think their shots no longer work for protection from things like that. Azinuki asks, how fluent are werewolves when they spoke to you? And who taught them English? The ones that come through the breeding program are taught at our facility, and they speak fluently. The wild ones learn from listening to others talk, so they are self-taught. Daryl Ogle asks, do you think Justin was using you to destroy his enemies? And if that is true, his mental, the reasoning would be equal to human. The werewolf is on a rampage. Does this often happen? And you say they rarely fight, but what would cause them to fight? Daryl, he may have wanted me to kill his enemies, but I could not even hold my long gun up to my shoulder. I was too weak. I honestly was barely able to walk. He would have known that. He could have never been a human. But he did his best for me and really believed in the program. No one on a rampage like that does not happen very often at all. In fact, in 35 years now, I have seen maybe 12 that just totally went off the deep end like that one. The reason he went after the Dogman was not me. It was the rabies he had. I'm almost certain that he had it. Leslie Smith asked, I've wondered before if the werewolf and Dogman are susceptible to rabies, or, for that matter, other diseases. Yes, they are, just like this giant werewolf was rabid, or I guessed it to be. By its actions, but then again, I don't know this as I didn't take any shots for it, and there was nothing of the brain left to test. Colleen Carolee Peltimo asks, was this a tagged werewolf from the breeding program that went psycho? No, this was a wild werewolf. I did find its right ear, and it had no number on it. Sharon Roja asked, did you ever locate the remains of the woman that was taken by the Dogman? Actually, I never found her, Sharon. I found the cave with the Dogman was using for cover, but her body was not in there, and I was still weak from what I had been through, so I didn't spend a lot of time looking, and I felt bad about that, and was going to go back after the snow melted, but got busy on other cases, and it was winter again when I next thought about it. Tuluk the werewolf makes a statement. Should have buried the 3 out of respect. Tuluk, you are 100% correct, but I was still too weak to do that, and it didn't cross my mind. I was going to ask for a couple of officers to go along, but that just brings that more people into the mix that you have to keep quiet. But they did deserve a decent burying, and I was unfit for that duty. Jeffrey Lane asks, William, when Justin, Courtney, and Nicole talked, did they sound like the Hulk from the Avengers talking? William, have you ever asked Sebastian about aliens or UFOs, and has he seen any in his life? No, Justin and Nicole sounded like you and me, and Courtney was a little broken because she was not part of the program. She was a wild one that had joined in with the other 2. No, Jeffrey, that's not something we have ever talked about. He doesn't even know his own age except for what I've told him. He was captured in 1952 and was full grown then, so I don't know his actual age. I know he's older than 68 years old, and to get to his size, I'm guessing add another 12 to 10 years to his age, so he's probably 80 by now. Vincent Richardson asks, William, could you please, to the best of your memory, describe what Justin, Courtney, and Nicole looked like in size and color of fur? What's it like being part of a werewolf sandwich? Vincent, I'm 6'4", so Justin was probably 6'9", weighed about 345 pounds, maybe, was jet black, blacker than the black Sims like. Courtney was a wild one. She was smaller in size, I think due to her being on her own for a good long while. She was probably 6 foot, may have weighed about 180, with almost blonde and white fur, about 4 inches in length, well groomed, soft and clean. Nicole was 6'4", weighed about 240 or close to it. She slept on top of me in the sleeping bag that one night. Her fur was a little longer than Courtney's and was dark gray, like you see in a timber wolf. My wounds got cleaned. They made me warm with their fur. They were soft and even unstuck my eyes so I could see again after they had frozen shut. Really good at that time. Emily Horrocks statement. I thought werewolves only talk to people when nobody is around. Emily, I was the only human around that they were talking to. Cryptid Tours asks, are there any Dogman that have pinkish skin? In 1981, when I was 10 years old, I was at a family reunion in Louisiana. The house we were at was deep in the woods on a dirt road. At about 10 or 11 at night, I was walking to the backyard beside the house to get to the outhouse. It was pitch black other than the porch light and the light on the back of the house. About halfway, once my eyes adjusted, I noticed a huge mass next to me that was pinkish, with what looked like little dots on it. Its breathing was very heavy and had a short growl at the end of each breath. I could also feel heat coming from this thing. When I noticed it, I froze and just my eyes at it because I was too afraid to turn my head. I think it was back to me and possibly squatting because I couldn't only see the wall of pinkish mass taller than me. My body turned without me thinking it, and I bolted back to the front of the house. I returned to that same spot with my dad a couple minutes later and the thing was gone. I have had another encounter, but later for that one. Cryptid. Sorry to say, but I've never heard of any such cryptid like this, or had any dealings with anything like this. I'm sorry I couldn't be any more help for you. Also, Cryptid, this is from me, Jeff. I would love for you to share both of those encounters if you want to email them. My email is in the description below. There's like an upside down triangle. Just click on that and my email will pop up. 330 Crypto asks, have you ever heard of Operation Sunray that took place in Bulgaria back in the early 90s, and what your opinion is of the total events that took place? Not my area of expertise, but here is what I know about the subject. It was also known as the Tarsan Sea Case. It started on December of 1990 and ended in November of 92. The Bulgarian Ministry of Defense carried out a unique operation in excavating a so-called Object Number 1. It is irrational visions of mediums and folk superstition about a gold treasure. They dug a tunnel 180 meters in depth and filled it in with concrete, so what did they find? Most believe it was an alien being of some sort that would have set the world at war. That's the reason for the concrete to bury it. The person in charge of this program committed suicide, or so they say. I believe when I read about this that in fact was some type of being. Bruce Bissell's statement. God bless you, Bill. Hope you don't have to go out again. Stay safe till the 9th and call it done. And go home to your wife. Praying for you each night. An old Vietnam vet, 1971, 101st Recon Team. Bruce, thank you for your service, sir. Would be proud to serve beside you. Also, thank you for your kind words. They have extended my service through the last day of this year, now due to everyone getting trained correctly. I wish it was still the 9th. as we had plans, but they have changed by Uncle Sam. Also, Bruce, thank you for your service as well. My dad served in Vietnam, and I was listened to his nightmares that he had for the majority of my childhood. So God bless you, and I could never imagine going through what you guys went through over in that hellhole. Ketz asked, how do they get their names? And if one female was wild and they took her in, how did she get her name? If they come from the breeding program, they are given a name, and that's on their chip, also for ID. The wild one, Courtney, was named by Justin and Nicole. M. Clark asked, William, do you discuss cases with Sebastian before or even after? Also, they are very intelligent from what you have said. So, do they read or write any languages, or just read for pleasure of the reading? I've discussed cases with Sebastian after the cases were closed. Never before. As soon as we get the file, we are expected to leave. Right then and there, no waiting around. I have never seen Sebastian write, but he has taken my iPad many times and read on it and pointed things out to me, and then we had a discussion about it. Jim Bean asks, do they have their own language or do they speak English? And please, could you tell me how many are around the Greensboro, Winston-Salem, North Carolina area at one time? I have a reason for asking, please. How do you know if there is a good one or a bad one? Jim, they speak English, the ones that come out of the breeding program, and I suppose the wild ones just pick up on English from hearing it. I've never heard them speak anything other than English. Well, within a 36-mile radius is what I am using for this research. You have 72 Dogman, 63 werewolves at this time. Scattered is my best description of locations of them. No real pockets. I would like to know your reason for asking. Nowadays, I doubt you will find any good ones left. There has been so much happenings in 12 years that has hurt the human and werewolf that it will no longer coexist anymore, land being taken over for building, just far too much land lost. Jeff, still no rest on my end. Hope you have had some. Here are some Q&A if you need them. Where is the help needed with Doc? I'm sorry I keep asking, but tomorrow I plan on heading her away. I just need to know where to go. Yesterday was my wedding anniversary, and I forgot, and my boss says I have papers in my office I ain't going to like. William. Alright guys, I hope you all enjoyed tonight's second half as much as I enjoyed sharing it with you. Thank you for all of the support and well wishes. I truly, truly appreciate that. Guys, with that, please stay safe, happy, healthy, and ever vigilant while in the woods, whether it be camping, fishing, hiking, you name it. Keep an eye on your pets, your children, your loved ones. Why? Because these things are keeping an eye on us. They are watching us. We can't see them, but they are there. They are real. God bless.